It
Good
is
evening, Coordinator John.
okay. Thank you very much, Otolo Billy. And before we continue, anyone who has been touched and filled by the Holy Spirit this afternoon to pray for us.
I can pray.
Yes, go on, Anne.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening. We thank you for your faithfulness and for your goodness upon our lives. Thank you for yet another opportunity that you've given unto us to be able to enrich our knowledge in different perspectives, oh Lord. A breaking of glory, God, that each and every single thing we're going to be taught today, we're going to understand, and we're going to give all the glory and honor back to you. It is in Jesus' name we pray, trusting and believing. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Anne. Good evening once again to you. I hope you are all well. This is my first session to you. Therefore, Happy New Year to you all, and may this year be of blessings to us all. This is the session 2 of Module 6, that is monitoring, project management and monitoring. And therefore, we expect each and every fellow to join. I believe the rest will join us, except from one of the fellow. By the name Alfred Mumbo was sent his apology, and he will join later on. He's having an exam. Therefore, this is to date 24th of January. The month, the longest month, as they say, is almost coming to an end. And a kind reminder, I believe that all of you have started your work on your proposal, and we wish you all the very best because we want the best from you. Start to work early on it to avoid rush hour at the end time to come up with a schedule work. So therefore, work slowly by slowly, and any part that you feel like to consult, you are free. Consult at whatever point. Anything that you don't understand, anything that you need to seek clarification, the communication is open. Therefore, Otolo Billy, at your comfort place, if you can hear me loud and clear, I pass the mic to you.
Thank you very much, Coordinator John, for that brilliant encouragement that you just received, and also for availing right on time so that you can start us off. I just want to set some just want to lay down some rules, or rather the guide that we're going to use for in this. I believe in our previous modules, I've not been able to give feedback in regards to the assignments that you just submitted, starting from module 4, which was building and sustaining partnership for integrity. Module 5, which was implementing innovative solutions for integrity. And now we are in module 6, which is project management and monitoring. So I break down session into 4 phases, whereby in the first phase, I'm going to take 30 minutes to give you feedback on your previous assignments. That is 15 minutes will be for 15 minutes for module 4, and 15 minutes I was going to give feedback on module 5. And thereafter, I'm going to give you 30 minutes to do your presentation on module 5 on the questions that was given earlier. And thereafter, we are going to break to our breakout session, also to tackle a few questions. And then we'll come back also to do our presentation and also get feedback on the same. So I will start straight away with a question on module. Let me start with the session module 4, which was on stakeholder mapping using the stakeholder tool. And Just a minute. So on stakeholder mapping, I received assignment from 7 fellows. 7 fellows successfully submitted their assignments on time. I'm not going to, read out names loud, because we are also, we want also to be professional in terms of how we do correction and give feedback, so that someone not feel maybe bad, or rather feel inferior, maybe if something negative is highlighted by the facility. So I'll be just reading the title of that. I'm just reading the title of your project, and also areas where you need to correct, so that you are aware of areas where you need to refine your project. So I will start with the first project here that was submitted. And that project was on creating awareness on waste management process using digital tools and community platforms. So on this project, it was clearly captured. This project was missing key deliverables. So the owner of that project, you should be noting down, your project was missing the key deliverables. Tell us what your deliverables are. And also I realized that when mapping the stakeholders, it was clearly mapped. The stakeholders were clearly mapped out, but I came to realize that all the stakeholders that you mapped did not align with some of the criteria of building a sustaining partnership that we had discussed, because we said that when building, identifying partners, it should be of the common interest, and therefore you have to identify whether that particular partner will be of high or moderate influence to your project, and also highlight on what the partner also stands to gain by being a key stakeholder during the project implementation. So I realized that in your identification, all the partners that you've identified, it was like kneeling on one side. In an event where the partner has got influence, the influence is high, you find that the other partner, whatever the partner is bringing on board is low or is moderate. So can you identify maybe 2 or scenario where both partners are for mutual interest? I've seen some have identified the partners that have got both high influence of the project, and also the project would also impact them on a very high level engagement. So I want that to be of both sides, for both mutual interest. So that one was not clearly articulated in this project. And also I realized that IT, I've said some of the skills that is required for project managers is that you also have to be IT specialist. So you need to be able to also have some skills in computer. So I realized that some of you are having a challenge navigating the tool. In an event where that tool actually, I had customized it to be able to target 10 stakeholders. In the event that you add 10, so I was expecting that now you are to do away with those other columns, so that you only narrow it down to the partners that you've identified. So the next project here was on the next project here. Yes, the next project was on empowering youth through digital literacy and anti-corruption education. So I I do understand that this person was an IT person, so he was very skillful in IT, because this person was able to navigate the tool, and he was also able to identify the partners, the key partners. So Nation Media is said that it is falling under organization type. It is independent. So media is not an independent. We normally advocate that media needs to be independent, so that it is not subject to external interference or interference by the state, so that they're able to articulate their mandate without fear. But that does not make media to be under to fall as an independent organization. So media actually falling under private sector. So I was expecting that media to be categorized under private sector and not as an independent organization. And also in terms of how the project will impact or influence in terms of how partners will be affected by the project, and how the partners will bring their contribution to the project. That was clearly articulated, and it was captured very well. So I've also noticed that in this project, the last partner, which is Youth Dare Initiative, you've said that how the project will be important to the stakeholder. You've said that they help in early detection of corruption, in that they act as red flag. So this this statement is affected by the direct translation of mother tongue, and I will request the owner of this project to refine that statement, because if you say that they help in early detection of corruption, in that they act as red flag, it means that that organization itself is acting as a red flag, but they help us in identifying the corruptions, and also help us now be able to identify the areas where there's some alarming events towards corruption, so that we're able to take speedy measures to be able to curb corruption. So they alert us, but they don't act as a red flag. It's like saying that somebody maybe you are having somebody you are dating, and maybe you suspect that this person might be cheating on you, and you want to do research to find out if it is true. So somebody tells you that this person is not faithful to you, so you want to do an investigation, and then thereafter, the somebody who gave you that information, then you say that that person acted as a red flag. No, that person does not act as a red flag, but that person helps you to be able to identify the red flag. So that organization that is as a partner gave us information, but does not act as a red flag, but they help us identify the red flag or other areas that we need to stress, so that we're able to mitigate corruption risk. The next project here is on next project title was on combating corruption through open governance initiatives. So this person is highlighted transparency matters, and then then this person, he puts a full colon. Then she wrote combating corruption through open governance initiatives. So I will rather suggest that this person just be very specific in terms of defining the name of the project. So just say your project is combating corruption through open governance initiatives. So remove those initials of transparency matters. Then you put a full column. So just do away with the first statement and just reframe it as combating corruption through open governance initiatives. And then in terms of the key deliverables, you said policy and legislative framework as one of the deliverables. So what will you do with the policy? So that is not very clear. So deliverables should be very clear because we do understand that deliverable are the tangible results that are being done towards the completion of the project objectives. So this should be very clear. Maybe you say about it. You're going to conduct trainings, outreach programs, awareness creation by use of media and all that, and other platforms that are there, or developing tools to be able to tools that help in reporting corruption. So that should be very clear. But when we talk about policy and legislative framework, then this is a very broad statement that it may be not easy to define. So I want you to refine your deliverables so that they are very specific and measurable. In terms of identification of the partners, that was well done. And then I also realized that you are supposed to delete, once you've identified your partners, you're supposed to delete all other columns that are not in use. So those are the columns that are below your work. You're supposed to do away with them so that it be very, so that your work can be very neat. Then let me check on the importance of stakeholders. Yeah, so in terms of identification, what will be important to the stakeholders and their contribution, I see this is was well captured. And then another project was on another project was also on Kuza Youth Integrity Building. So this one was also not well done. In terms of identification of the partners, you only highlighted 3 partners. And in terms of specification, there's a county government that falls under government. There's a unit, Kilifi County Anti-Corruption Units falling under the county. Kilifi Youth Empowerment Center under the CBO, Kilifi Kaya under the media. So this should be a private or private sector. And so in terms of how this institution will have influence or be impacted by the program, so there's be high impact and high influence, and they'll have moving towards a shared goal, which is promoting accountability and reducing corruption within public service, providing expertise oversight. That was well captured. So I just realized that there are some sections that were left missing. So it means that this person did not complete the assignment. So I'll expect you to add more partners, and then you do away with other columns that are not relevant. And then the key deliverables. How can you say that? How do you say to promote transparency, accountability, and community empowerment in Kilifi County by addressing corruption and social injustices in service delivery within the public and private sector as a project key deliverable? That's not a key deliverable. That is the outcome, the long-term, the long-term focus or the end result of the project. So what we are doing, why are we doing this? So the outcome should answer the question, why? Why are we doing this? Like we're doing this so that at the end result, what do you want to see at the end? So that becomes your outcome. And the outcome cannot be a key deliverable. The key deliverables are what are you doing so that you move towards your end result, the ultimate goal. So to promote transparency, accountability, and community empowerment in Kilifi County by addressing corruption and social justices in service delivery within the public and private sector. This is our end term result. So the key deliverables, what are you doing right now? could it be training and capacity building for the county government staff so that they are able to aware of what they're supposed to do? Or maybe in terms of budgetary allocations, are you empowering them so that in terms of county integrated development plan, they are able to factor in all those issues that affect the less fortunate members of the society? So that is what we are saying are the key deliverables, what we are doing right now that will help you achieve your ultimate end result. So I want you also to check on that. And then there was also somebody also talked about creating awareness on water management processes using digital tools and community platforms. And the first partner there you've identified as NEMA, and you are saying that NEMA has no much influence to what you are doing. So at the moment, whatever you're doing is leans on corruption, then definitely NEMA can be a key stakeholder and they have a high influence, because whatever you do will definitely help them in accelerating whatever they are doing in terms of enhancing conservation measures within the country. And so you've said the NEMA has high influence and the project has no influence to whatever NEMA is doing. So that is aligned. So this should be balanced. There's high influence. The project will have influence to the stakeholder, and the stakeholder will also have influence to this project. Yeah, so I've also realized that there was imbalance in terms of all the stakeholders you've identified. There was imbalance. So this make it difficult even to analyze how you're able to reach out to this stakeholder, because wherever in an event where the project has impact to the stakeholder, now the stakeholder has a very low influence, and it should be. And we say that we only select this tool, which guides us and help us to identify the suitable partners that are very key. So in an event that there's both benefits between the partners, then in that case we are able to make a quick analysis and make a decision that this project, this partner, this could be a key partner. So I realized that your identification was not balanced. So in the event the project has influence to the partner, then the partner has no influence, and vice versa in most cases. Then there's another project on there's a repetition of the same. So second to last project was on Rise Together Leadership Program. So on Rise Together Leadership Program, in terms of identification of the stakeholders. So you've said mentors could be a stakeholder because of course it's a leadership program, so you can maybe work with the mentors. And if you said you are working with the mentors and at the same time you are working with the community members, and mentors also come from the community, so I think at some point it will be a repetition, but it depends on how you frame your interventions. And also, yeah, in terms of identification of, and then you also said technology identify the technology partners. So in this case, I will advise that you be very, very specific in terms of which technology partner that is you are targeting. So will it be maybe Ajira Digital, So we are giving us assurance that you know which partner and what they do and how they'll be influential to your project. So I want this to be very specific. Don't just leave it opaque, that technology partner. And then alumni networks, that is a CBO, that's all correct. And also in terms of how stakeholders will be impacted and also how stakeholders will have influence in the project, that was clearly articulated, because I can see all of them had gone for the mutual benefit, because where the stakeholder will be impacted is very high, and also how the influence the stakeholder have is also high. So that means that these high chances for this organization, this partner to be selected. And then the last project there was on yes, on restoring land justice. So we are very much aware that Ministry of Land could be very key. National Land Commission is very key. National Land Commission, as I can see, it has already been highlighted. Kenya Land Alliance, public, and the university. So I can see you've highlighted some of the stakeholders here. And when something doing with land, you can also bring NEMA on board as a key partner. And also the Kenya Human Rights Commission is also highlighted. In terms of identification of how the programs will be, how this project will impact the stakeholders. So you can see it has high impact and also the influence from stakeholders. Okay, I can see there's a balance. Some have got, for him, mutual benefits, some has got low. So it depends with what you've identified the stakeholders will do to the project and what the project will be doing to the stakeholders. So this will help you to make a quick analysis and know which one has got for the mutual, which was high level impact and medium, so that from there you can make a decision on which partners that are very key that you need to identify. Then also in terms of key deliverables, community awareness campaign, that's very correct. Policy recommendations, public reports, collaboration with key stakeholders, and so on and so forth. So collaboration with key stakeholders is very common, because all these projects as to building and sustaining partnership is a core is core in the project, but it's not necessarily that you have to highlight it as part of the deliverables. So I think you need more points on the deliverables of this project. Yeah, so that is the comments that I wanted to highlight in that assignment that you did on identifying stakeholders using the stakeholder mapping tool. So before I move to the next assignment, which was on sustainable solution for integrity, is there any question on building and sustaining, on identifying stakeholders using a stakeholder mapping tool? Yeah, so if there's no question, quickly, let me take you again through the assignment on module 5. So on module 5, Okay, there's someone who has tackled, like, there are optional questions. You could choose which question to tackle. So I think this person tackled question 1, testing on blockchain technology and how it can help to promote corruption in the land sector. So yeah, define what it means by blockchain technology. Yes, also analyze how blockchain technology can improve transparency and accountability in Kenya's land ownership records, where he has talked about through immutable records, ensuring that they are secure and ledgers that are not tampered with. And also there's also decentralization of verification. And that's also what blockchain technology has brought. And even in our banking system, whereby right now, if you have a bank account with a KCB bank, it does not necessarily that you have to go to withdraw money in the same branch where you had registered an account, or where you open an account. You can visit any bank and you get when you withdraw your money, or whether you want to withdraw your money via using an ATM machine. It is not necessary that you have to go to the same bank where you had registered, but it has been decentralized in such a way that you can draw money at any bank. And even the how do I call it? We also have these teller machines, the ones that are normally used by the agents. So even if you visit an agent, we came to realize that even if you have ATM bank with ATM card with the KCB, you can still withdraw the money using the agent from the agent who maybe operates maybe with a cooperative bank. So there's that inter bank withdrawal that has been made easy, and this is all done by this technology of blockchain. So it has made verification of details very easy, so that wherever you go, maybe in any other branch, you are able to verify your details that without necessarily going to the main registry. And then also there's also smart contracts. We talked about smart contracts, whereby that also automate the verification and the execution of land transaction, so that during even if you want to maybe buy a land, so it is very easy for verification to be able to know whether the name is that particular land bears the name of the seller. So in terms of challenges, we've highlighted lack of technical expertise, regulatory challenges, infrastructure issues. You can also add limited resources can also be a challenge, because these are high level technology, and it comes also with costs. Then you are also to talk about how these challenges can be resolved. So this one was not tackled. So the next presenter there talked about question 2, which was asking about how you will the steps that we use in implementing solution using design thinking, and say you empathize, define, ideate, implement. So this actually, this question was testing on the decision making process. How do you think about the problem, and how do you come up with with the idea from that problem until you put it into practice, until you actualize that particular idea. So it was talking about how you come up with idea. And I think this was also tackled well in module 3. So somebody also tackled on, also still on blockchain. Yeah, this person also talked about decentralization. Still also talked about the records, real-time access. Yeah, so he also added another point that the other person did not mention. There's also real-time access. So it's easy for you to be able to get access to your records, do verification, and so on and so forth. So challenges, limited digital literacy, strategy, infrastructure. So he has talked about the problem and the strategy. So limited digital literacy, he has talked about implement training programs to enhance digital literacy among stakeholders. On infrastructure challenges, this person has said invest in improving digital infrastructure in rural areas, regulatory uncertainty, lack of clear regulatory framework. State advocate for the establishment of the regulatory framework that supports blockchain technology. And also, somebody also talked about social entrepreneurship that promote ethical practices and also provide examples of successful integrity enterprises. So he has talked about the Transparency International has come up with the Wajibikaji app. I was also expecting you talked about the app that we highlighted for the link, the integrity link, the ones for youth for integrity building. And I don't know why you go very far without, it is normally say that first, it is you put yourself first before others. So I was expecting that you first be proud of our institution. Yeah, so you start speaking about our integrity link, and then you proceed and highlight all other organizations. And then there's also one on the, also still on Ministry of Land, that one I've talked about. Then this also talked about social enterprise and how it can address ethical practice. So we have to create transparency systems. Yeah, so that's also one of the idea that we can be, all of us, looking at in terms of developing system or helping institution to build on systems that can help them enhance a service delivery. So we can do this through capacity building. We can do this through IT integration of IT, and also installation of softwares that will help promote accountability and good governance. And even as we speak, right now the government is moving to an era where all government services have been digitalized. Like if you want to apply for a job, you have to go through the Public Service Commission website to submit your application. So it is very easy to track and also to identify whether these people that have been contracted meet the minimum requirements, so that this is done to, to do away with to have limited human interaction that will pave way for corruption. And also when it comes to public tenders, there's also it's also a requirement by law that the government to digitalize all the public the procurement services, so that the procurement services to be digitalized in a way that the process should be posted on the website. People get access, people submit the application, and the shortlisted are also, applicants have also published on the website. So this also helps to minimize the chances of corruption. And the next person there also talked about also blockchain. And another person also so this also talked about design thinking. That one I've talked about. This person also. So I believe I've tackled all the areas that you are to tackle in module 5. And maybe if still there's a question, maybe you can put them forward so that I'm able to respond to them. So right now, I just want to go quickly. I promise to take 30 minutes for that. And I believe I've taken exactly that. So just very fast, I want to give you 13 minutes to do your presentation on module 6 assignments. Then also 30 minutes also breakout for questions that are prepared that we're supposed also to tackle in this module. Then we also come back for 30 minutes discussion and presentation. So, so I've just opened the submission, the document that have been submitted for the breakout session. Not for the breakout session, but first of all, first of all, before we move to the breakout session, first we want to do presentation. So I want to give room for anyone who is ready to start us off. Don't want to ambush anyone. So anyone who is ready, I believe you are aware that the question that you are tackling, you are to present right now. And that's why I had stressed that you complete the assignment before today's class so that I'll also submit them earlier enough so that you are aware of what you are to, at least you get a glimpse of what you're supposed to present. So can I have anyone who is ready to start us off? So if there's no one who is ready, I'll call at random. So I'll call at random. Let me start with Brian Karani. Can you just take 2 minutes, just share with us what you did in your assignment, something that stand out from your assignment that you did so that we can, all of us, we can see how we can support or rather also implement or do that, maybe implement that also in our learning as part of our learning.
Hello.
Yes.
From the ones you presented or the one we just presented today, you just submitted today?
Yes, the one we just submitted today.
The assignment was to promote accountability and good governance. Question one was asking about identifying and outlining the
Like we've
core
lost
problem
you.
to be the corruption itself. Sorry, network issues. I'm saying it is raining in my side. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Brian.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The question was about promoting accountability and good governance. And the first question was to identify and outline the core problem. For me, the core problem was corruption itself, which has undermined public service delivery, eroded public trust in the government and authorities to deal with corruption. I outline it by saying the weak anti-corruption laws and low awareness on corruption and ethical principles have played a big role in strengthening corruption. Limited transparent reporting system for corruption cases has also played a growth in corruption by enabling and reporting of the same cases. For the fear of
So that was the
retaliation.
statement of the problem. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to outline I have identified the problem as corruption. I'm trying to outline it. Yes. Is it okay?
And the cause, the root of the problem tree.
That one I answered in question 2, which asked to develop a problem tree by categorizing causes and core problems and the effects. Question 2.
So what are these causes, the root, the causes, and the core and the effects?
Starting with the identifying the core problem in my
okay. Thank you for Brian.
Sorry.
Brian.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I just want to appreciate you for your time because you already identified the statement of the problem. So I just want somebody else also to come in and tell us proceed from there, so that will be fair to each and everyone. Yeah. So next.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. So according to what my responses were to the case study, the problem that I identified in the scenario was also corruption. The effects that identified included the increase in inequality, inefficiency in public services, and eroded public confidence in governance. The core issue in my problem tree was corruption. The causes were the weak enforcement of anti-corruption laws, lack of public awareness on ethical practices, and limited platforms for reporting corruption.
Those are the causes, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can somebody else tell us the core problem? And then we go to effects.
Okay, my name is El Gerama.
Yes.
Identify the core problem. Number 1 is the weak enforcement of anti-corruption laws. We have number 2, lack of public awareness on ethical practice, and we have limited platform for reporting corruption. That is the core problem. Thank
Okay.
you.
Before you proceed, just want to come in and maybe correct you for the benefit of others so that you don't deviate. Hello? Alima?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ali, okay, I'm saying what you've just listed are causes of the problem and not the core problem. So the core problem has already been identified by the previous fellow, that corruption that is undermining the service delivery, becoming the core problem. So the others, the rest becomes part of the root cause. So they are actually contributing to the core problem. Like if we have weak enforcement of the law, then definitely there's going to be a room for corruption, and that corruption, will affect the service delivery. So what you've highlighted, both of them contribute to the core problem. Are we together on that point?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Somebody else will come and tell us the effects.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, sorry.
So I can talk about the effects. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Sharon, loud and clear.
Okay. I had the inequality, inefficiency in public service, sustained corruption culture. Yes, those ones. Or maybe I can
Obviously.
expand.
We just want to list. So you said
Okay, sir. Sustained
okay, that's
corruption
okay.
culture, inequality, inefficiency in public service,
Yes, so
and
there's
erosion of
inefficiency in
public
public.
trust and governance.
Yes, there is erosion in public trust and governance. There is inequality, and so on and so forth. So those comes as a result of the causes that we have highlighted as the root. Now, can you tell us? I don't want to give you the answer. Can somebody else now tell us that categorization? What do we have at the stem? What do we have at the root? And what do we have at the branches?
Maybe I can say something again.
Yes.
At the root, we have the causes,
Mhm.
and the stem, we have the core problem. Then the branches, we have the effects.
At the
root, we have the causes.
Yes.
The stem, we have the core problem.
Yes.
And the branches, we have the effects.
Very correct. So thank you, Sharon. So somebody else now tell us how can we, now how can we turn around the causes now to project deliverables, the core effect now to the main to be the main objectives, and also the effects now to be our outcome, to be the project outcome, so that we're able to define the project to be able to design this project. Because I mentioned that this is the tool that is helping us, that we are using when designing a project. And the project definition happens in the initiation stage, where the project objectives, overall objectives, goals are being defined using this tool called the problem tree, where we first start by identifying the main problem, the causes of the problem, and then the effects of that problem. Then once you've done that, now you are able to turn around all this problem now to be a solution. Now you think about the solution for this project. Now, can somebody now tell us how we can turn around the causes, the core problem to be now to be now the project definition, and then the causes now to be our deliverables, and then the effects now to turn it around to get the best outcome of the project. So what do we want to see at the end of the project that we are thinking about, that you are, that you are designing?
Okay, maybe I can say something.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Benson, and if we have to turn around, considering the points which have been shared about the effects, the problem, and the causes, we can. Let me start with the causes. So the deliverable can be like strengthening enforcement mechanism for the anti-corruption laws, because we have seen that we have weak enforcement laws. Then
Yes.
having an operational transparent reporting platform, because we've said that we lack that one. Then the other one, we need to have like a campaign and outreach sessions to create the awareness to the public. Then maybe on the impact.
Before you go to the impact, what is now what is your solution? What do you want? What do you seek to achieve? The core solution. The core of the
Sorry?
Your main objective. What is your main objective that you are doing it? Your main objective as a result of maybe when strengthening the systems.
Okay, my main objective is to enhance public awareness of ethical practices and anti-corruption measures.
Okay, so that now become your project statement, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the project objective, right?
Yes, sure.
Yes, and then now your project statement, or rather the outcome. What do you want to see at the end of that project?
So at the end of the project, I'd love to see better accountability and governance. Then restored public confidence in government and institutions. Then improved efficiency and equality in provision of public services. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. So I can see we are very much optimistic, and we are able to, utilize the learning outcome from this session, so that you can help us in identifying the core problems that we are facing in the community, and then turn them around so that you're able to design projects that will help combat corruption and promote integrity in our country. So I want to thank you very much for that, and also for your cooperation. So what was the next question? What was the next question there?
It was on the Gantt chart.
Yes, the next question was on the Gantt chart. That was, you were to use a Gantt chart to develop project activities, to develop a schedule for the implementation of the project activities, right? So let me share a sample of the Gantt chart, and then we can fill it so that you can mention those activities. We fill it together. I'm just trying to download it here. So can you see my sample of my Gantt chart? Can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It's
so I'll
visible.
start with it is visible. So we'll go very okay, so can you see me typing?
Yes.
So what could be the first activity there? Will it be stakeholder mapping? Okay, just tell me what you had written.
Planning.
So you start with planning. Then the venue of the activity, maybe resource required for planning.
Resource required for planning were planning documents like project plan, timeline, risk assessment.
Project plan. You develop documents like project plan. Actually, project plan will also help you in planning. So when you have these documents, we'll use them in planning, right? So you have a project plan. Any other material you need during planning? Who is responsible for this? Is this project manager? So you can see this one also is supposed to be done at the earliest stage. That's why I've shaded the January. We have shaded the first month. The next activity, after planning, what do you do?
I think we do the stakeholders engagement.
Stakeholder engagement, just for them to be able to understand what your project is all about. So activity, venue of activity, maybe you can meet them in hotel, or maybe you can meet them at the office. But I just don't want us to go to that extent where we book a venue, because at this time we do understand the resources are very limited. So you can meet them just, you can invite them in the office, or maybe you can visit the office of the partners, one of the office of the partner, and then you meet there. Resources required, maybe venue is needed. Then maybe talk about maybe transport facilitation, if you need to facilitate their transport. Okay, venue, can we talk about virtual meeting instead of office? Meet virtual. This could be a most cost effective. So maybe we talked about resources needed. They have to have internet and a gadget. So this will be a cost effective. So who's responsible for this? Cannot be a project manager still. Yes. Next activity there is
After the stakeholder engagement, we can probably have capacity building training for the public officials, maybe, and the community.
so we can have capacity building and trainings and even before we do capacity building, do we need to have development of the training materials that we are going to use for these trainings? So before we do this, you can maybe start with developing of the training materials. Need to develop the training materials. Training materials, PowerPoint slides that you're going to use for the trainings. For this one, maybe you can do it in the office. Yeah, maybe there's no resource required. Maybe project manager and the communication department. So this one can come in March. The March would be too late. So maybe we can shade it here. So March can be too late. So we go to March, we delete this one. That in March we first start, we have trainings running. Then capacity building now can come in March. Then after trainings and capacity building, what next? We can also develop the IC materials. Development of IC materials. What is ICT materials? I believe Ed define it in the case study. What is IC materials? Development of and distribution. We develop them and we distribute. And distribution of IC material. What is ICT material? IC materials. Watu hawako kusoma jameni. So IC materials means information, education, and communication materials. I believe maybe somewhere even in the street, you have come across some materials with some messaging of corruption. Where another maybe mtu ameandikwa hapo, ameka kangumi, anasema no to corruption. So if you read that, take that book, or it's a small book or a booklet, or rather just a flyer that is having a messaging on corruption, on preventing corruption. So if you go through that, if you have such books or such materials and we distribute them with our participants, then we can, it can help us in terms of educating the public on matters of corruption. So those are what we are calling the IC material. So this one we can maybe do it in April. So we can use same color, same shading color. And then after distribution of the IC materials, so we can do outreach programs, also conduct outreach. Outreach programs, and this can start around May. We can do this maybe in May. Or we can also have this one in April as well. Or we can have this in 2 months, in both April and also in May. And then we can also have engaging the media for sensitization. So we can have sensitization forum. Forums. So this one can also be going concurrently as we do outreach programs. It's also part of sensitization. We are also doing sensitization. So I think this one can also be, this is a repetition on outreach. But this cannot be a repetition because when we are conducting outreach, it means we are going to the community so that we can able to sensitize them, do trainings and all that. And as opposed to sensitization forums whereby we can meet online, we can engage the media and all that. So it looks all alike, but it is distinct from, the two are distinct from each other. So we can have outreach at the same time we conduct sensitization forums. I've also forgotten about developing of ICC, development of platforms for reporting corruption. So we can also develop platforms on reporting corruption. So you can also develop platform for reporting. So we can also have that maybe concurrently starting from that month, and maybe it's so, developing and sensitization also, these are not done once, it is something that is continuous. So when it starts, it's supposed to go concurrently. It's supposed to go over a certain period of time. So it's supposed to start, when it starts from maybe, let me say April, it's supposed to proceed until the end of the program. And then also there's also monitoring and evaluation, which is also supposed to go concurrently for a period of a certain period of time. Monitoring and reporting. So we are supposed to do monitoring, evaluation, and also we do reporting. So you can also change this so that we use the same color. Yeah, so this is a 6-month implementation plan. So you have capacity building and training. So this one for GOK staffs. We can say for community leaders, and GOK staff. So here we can have maybe also do it virtual. Required resources, we also need internet and laptop to do this. Person responsible, we can have maybe project manager and also the communication team. Virtual, okay, development of ICT materials and distribution. So we can do it both in office and also the project location. So we develop them in the office and we distribute them in the project location. So in this case, we might need resources for development of those. So we may need a budget, we must have a budget for this, as is designated for this. So we may have a budget, and then officer responsible could be the program manager. Yeah, so budget, so you can, as per the budget. So this one we do as per the budget, and then conduct outreach programs. So this one also the field project location. Even also as per the budget. And then develop platform for reporting. So we also need to do this maybe in the office. And then maybe as also resource we need to do as per the budget. So this one, the person responsible is program manager. Procurement department, and also the communication team. And even finance because of budget. So you can list all those departments that are involved. Then sensitization, we do them in the field, site, project location. And also virtually, can also do it virtually using the virtual communication tools and also social media platform. Virtually and also via social media platform. Then monitoring and reporting is supposed to be continuous, and this can be done either in the office or in the project location. We must have a certain budget that is also set aside for monitoring of the project activity. Because you also be required to go to the field to maybe see how the project is going. You get feedback from the participants and also from the stakeholders. So this is the M&D and the project program manager or the project manager. Yeah, so this is how you're supposed to customize your and in this case, maybe if we can also note that we have the program manager doing things all the time, maybe you can have maybe community volunteers. We have community volunteers and even the field associates who can also be helping in the sensitization. We cannot have program manager, the only person who is doing these things alone. So we can also have that conduct outreach programs. We can also have community volunteers. And also the field associates. So yeah, so this is how you are supposed to develop your work plan, then using a Gantt chart. So from that, you can be able to clearly see which activity comes first, and then which one come next, then that way. And the other activities you can see from April, you can see outreach is something that is not going for just 1 month. You can see it continuous, and then development of platform for reporting, because you see it's continuous going for 3 months. So we start, but it takes some time. So this means that it is very realistic. The time we have allocated is very realistic because we're developing a platform. It is something that we just wake up one day and we say, I want to come up with this development of this software. Sometimes it also has to go some stages of pre-testing, making amendments here and there. So it will take some time. And there's also sensitization. Also, it's not a one-day event. It's something that will also take some time. So if you craft your work plan this way, then it's very easy for you to be able to achieve now, because it's now very realistic. Yes, so question. Let me now pull down this so that we can also get time. I can see the screen. Those who have comments, those who have questions, can respond to them before we move to the next session. I can see the time is running very fast. Question? Yeah, so if you don't have question, then we'll proceed very fast to break our session. I think that is the next stage or the next step we're heading to. Then I believe I'll pull down my screen, or it's still there on. Yeah, so I'll pull down my screen. So I'll request they are doing that, sharing the, putting us in the breakout session and also the question for the breakout session. Let me give this chance to the fellows. If anyone still have a concern or a question on how you can go about planning or scheduling the project activities using a Gantt chart, a tool that is widely used for. Let me see if there's a concern or anyone that is still having a challenge using that tool. I do believe that I'm introducing that tool for the first time, and some of you maybe have not had it before, but they may be asking questions or wondering how is this thing working. And that's why I felt that I take you through it, doing it practically so that you know how you can customize it to meet to suit your need. Is there any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, on that tool, suppose you've submitted your work as at now, because we were supposed to submit before this class, and maybe you've gained some insights that maybe you've seen what to add in your project. Is it allowed maybe to do some amendments?
Yes, it is allowed. Maybe, for instance, because once we are done with this project, this module, you'll be expected to do your project, come up with your project, your budget, and also the work plan. So in event that you've done that already and you want to customize that, yes, it is possible. And then also, for instance, maybe you are implementing a project and then you realize that we are time bound, or rather we realize that the project has gone beyond the schedule. We are late with the project. So in that situation, we may be forced or we may be advised to revise your work plan. So work plan is not cast on stone. Even if you submitted your work plan and you feel that there's some areas or some aspects that you've not specified or indicated in your work plan, yes, you can revise your work plan to be able to align with the stated plan that you intend to do.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes. So when I maybe doing your work plan, what I'll just stress on is that when doing the work plan, ensure that the activities that that are stated in the work plan aligns also with what is in the detailed implementation plan. So this work plan, we do it so that we give us the rough figure or schedule of activities or things that we're supposed to do. And there's also a detailed implementation plan that guides us on the project, guide us throughout the project implementation. So you have to ensure that whatever you are quoting in the setting in your work plan aligns with the detailed implementation plan and also with the budget. And that's why when you see some areas, I was quoting as per the budget. So ensure that all those activities aligns with the budget. Yes, any other question? Coordinator John, we are late. I was waiting so that I was buying some time so that we can be put into the breakout sessions.
Okay, it is being worked on the other end,
Okay.
Mr. Bill.
Yes. Okay, it is being worked on. Somebody has said, Mr. Billy, I don't know, is that question? Okay, I can see there are questions on the chat. Somebody is asking whether I can do correction on my Gantt chart, especially when I use a different Gantt chart template and not the above shared. So if you've already done your assignment and you've used a different template, it's okay. You can still do another one and using the one that I've just shared. If you feel the one you used is not the right one, then we are able to we'll accept that correction. So you can still work on it so that we get it right. Hello, everyone. I believe all of us are back. So to save on time, I'll request Group 1 quickly to tell us what they have discussed. Just a quick one, Group 1. So we will have group. I'm giving 2 minutes per group, so you save on time.
Okay,
Group 1.
hello.
Yes.
My name is Brian Nekesa from Group 1, and we've just discussed the following. Our first question was to note out key differences between a project and a routine operational work.
Yes.
Whereby me and my group members discussed and came up with the following. We said a project is a temporary endeavor that is goal-oriented. That is from its definition, while a routine operational work, it's an ongoing activity that it keeps on going. It's not temporary. Another difference, we said a project needs planning, whereas a routine operational work does not require planning for it to happen. Another thing, a project focuses on achieving a specific objective, whereas a routine operational work only aims at maintaining ongoing activities. Also, a project has a fixed scope, whereas routine operational work, its scope is so flexible and it's flexible and broad, and it keeps on evolving over time. For the interest of time, I'm gonna go to the second question, where we were asked to discuss how the triple constraints influence project decisions. And these triple constraints are the time, scope, and the budget. So under time, we said it determines, it helps us to know the deadlines, the deadline of the project, when is the project supposed to start and to end. It also helps us to note the prioritization of tasks. Yeah, how to prioritize what comes first and what has to come last. It also can help us to allocate resources and do the planning. Under the scope, we said the scope can help us manage expectations and also can help us to, or it prevents deviation from the main goal of the, or rather the main objective of the project, so that we stay in line. It can also, okay, the budget, under the budget, we said it determines the resources available for the project. We have to have the budget or come up with a budget so that we know what kind of resources are available or what kind of resources are required for us to carry out our project. It also controls the cost by managing expenses, and it is critical because it keeps the project on track. Yeah, I think that's
Okay,
it for
thank you.
the group 1.
Thank you. Your 2 minutes is up. So let me also get insight from group 2 so that I'll give a final remarks thereafter. Group 2.
Hello, group 2, we are discussing about the project initiation. That is question for group 2. And the first question, I'm going to tackle the first question, then my colleague is going to tackle the second one. So question 1 is develop a problem tree for accountability and good governance project. So we are going to identify the core problem, which is the STEM. The core problem is lack of accountability and good governance. And then we are going to identify the root, which is the causes. We have several examples, but I'm just going to mention 3. Inadequate training and capacity building, high poverty levels, reducing public participation, lack of transparency mechanisms. And then we identify the branches, which are the effects. We had poor delivery of public services, increase in inequality, erosion of public trust, widespread corruption, and misuse of public resources. And my colleague can take the second question.
Yes. So I will take the second question, and the second question says we develop a high-level scope statement for the project. So what we have said, we have tackled the title project, where we've seen that it's promoting accountability and good governance in Kenya. Then we identified the objective, which is to strengthen accountability and governance by enhancing the enforcement of anti-corruption laws. Then we went further. We talked about the scope description, where we looked at capacity building, awareness campaigns, technological solutions. This is like to design the ones for anonymous reporting platforms. Then stakeholder cooperation. Then we talked about monitoring and evaluation to establish mechanism to track project progress. Then on the next part, we talked about the key deliverables, where from our discussion, we talked about having like training programs for targeted groups. Then we talked about having functional reporting platforms for corruption. Then we talked about engaging stakeholder, like having clear reports for engaging stakeholders, then monitoring and evaluation frameworks. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next group, very fast. Group 3.
Hello. We are tackling question 3, which was asking about planning and implementation phase. So my colleague will tackle. I'll tackle the first question. My colleague will tackle the second one. So the first question was asking, in the planning phase, how do you balance stakeholder expectation with resource limitations? The first response was risk management and contingency planning, which will help in anticipating potential risk related to limited resources and have backup plan. Leveraging on partnership and innovation, seek collaboration, sponsorship, and also volunteer support, supplement work gaps, optimize resource allocation, identify critical resources such as budget, manpower, and allocate them efficiently. Transparent communication and negotiation, regularly engage stakeholders to set realistic expectation about what is possible, set realistic goals and scope, define a clear project scope that align with both stakeholder expectation and available resources. The last one is identify and prioritize stakeholder needs. This will help in conducting stakeholder analysis to determine their influence, expectation, and key interests. Thank you.
Correct.
So for group 3, question 2, what tools or techniques can be used to ensure tasks are completed on time during project implementation? We discussed project management software tools like MS Project that can help track progress, assign tasks, and also set deadlines. We also discussed the Gantt charts with which will provide visual timelines that outline task sequences that will help teams to stay on track. We also talked about the daily stand-up meetings that are going to be focused on reviewing progress once in a while during the project implementation process. And then we also talked about time tracking tools. We could use apps like Clockify that can ensure tasks are being completed efficiently and also help identify areas of delay. We also talked of also having clear communication and accountability partners. Maybe we can have team leaders in different groups that have been assigned different responsibilities to ensure that teams are being held accountable for their tasks. Thank you.
Okay, correct. Next group, the last group. Group 4. Monitoring and evaluation. Is there another group, or we are only able to finish up the 3 groups?
The groups were 4.
Or there were 4. So
Yes, I'm saying in group 4, in the monitoring and evaluation, we are supposed to look at how can key performance indicators be effectively integrated into the monitoring process. So to effectively integrate the key performance indicators, the KPIs, into the monitoring process, organizations should have their key performance indicators be SMART, that is to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, and they should be aligned with the project goals, whereby they would allow regular reviews and adjustments based on the key performance, so as to help in identifying issues early on and to guide in decision-making process. And then on the same, the second question was on imagine in a midst of a project review, and which reveals that the project is behind schedule. What steps will you take to address this? So in this, in the midst of the project, you should first by identify the reasons for delay by analyzing the root causes for the delay. Then you allocate additional resources or adjust the team roles. Also revising the timeline by updating the project timeline with realistic deadlines. The third step is to enhance communication by improving stakeholder communication to ensure the alignment of the project goals with the timelines. And then to also implement corrective action by applying strategies to get back on track, such as prioritizing critical tasks. Yes, that was group 4.
Wow, that was wonderful. So just a quick one. Group 1 was tackling about the first question was about differences between a project and the ongoing operation. So this was this question was meant to help you understand the aspect of a project, or rather the concept, just to be able to get your understanding on the project concept. And they have highlighted quite a number of differences. Though there's one that was key that they left, they was also supposed to talk about, they said one is temporary, one is ongoing. That's a key difference. They also failed to mention that they mentioned the duration of the project that is supposed to be, it must have the start and end result, the start time and the end time, as opposed to operations that is expected, to go on forever. So projects is not expected to go on forever. So it has got a timeline that is supposed to be executed. For instance, maybe we have a health facility that its operational work is to provide health services to the clients. At the same time, the health facility may be having a different project that is maybe focuses on sensitizing the community to be able to adopt maybe contraceptive measures that they can be able to, improve the health of the mother. So this maybe is having a budget and supposed to go for maybe a certain period of time. So this becomes a pressure. This makes it different with the ongoing operation that the facility is having or providing continuous health services. And in terms of the triple constraint, managing time, scope, and budget, that one was well tackled, and I don't want to repeat that. And then in terms of initiation, where we are using the problem tree to identify the core problem, the causes, root causes, and also the effects. So that one was also well covered, and I've highlighted it in the previous session. So I believe as at now, all fellows are able to use the problem tree to identify the core problems that are affecting people in the community. They can also be able to align that with the integrity, focus projects and initiatives, so that they're able to craft compelling problem. They're able to identify the specific problem that can help promote integrity in the community. Using the problem tree, they can identify the key problems, and now they can turn around all those causes and the effects to be able to turn them around to core objective, get the deliverables, the outputs, and also the end results, the outcome of that particular project. So that's how problem tree is very crucial and is a key component during the designing phase of the project. And then on the implementation phase, there's this group that's talked about how you manage stakeholders' expectations and balance the stakeholder expectations. You have to prioritize stakeholder needs. So you're able to do stakeholder analysis so that you're able to get to know what are the needs of the stakeholders and be able to prioritize that. And also you're supposed also to be able to have clear communication to the stakeholders so that you'll be able to understand what your project is all about and also their input to the project. So you have to communicate transparency and also in the event of limited resources, you need to communicate openly, have a transparent and open communication with the stakeholders. And then they have also brought the concept of also use of volunteers in event of limited resources. You can also use volunteers to be able to bridge the gap. In terms of tools that we can use to manage time or the schedule of activities, they have highlighted the one that we broadly discussed, which is the Gantt chart. And there's also critical path method. This is another tool whereby you are able to identify those those activities that are key, and then we are able to maybe do away with some activities that are not very key. They have also mentioned Microsoft software, which is also a tool that is used to manage tasks, allocate tasks, and be able to track deadlines and ensure that the activities are done within time. Apart from Microsoft MS project software, we can also use to-do list. It's also another tool that is effective. And as opposed to Microsoft project that needs high-level techniques in IT, that needs high-level IT skills. To-do list is just kind of a template that you just have the list of tasks, and also you can maybe build it in the Excel and automate the columns, some columns with the Excel formula, so that you're able to track once the activities goes over maybe beyond the schedule. You are able to see maybe the deadline, the time is highlighted, that activity is highlighted red. When it is still on track, you can see yellow line, green line, here to show that the activity is still on time. And when the ones that have gone beyond when the ones that are overdue, you can maybe work quickly and be able to meet the deadlines. Lastly, last but not least, in terms of monitoring evaluation, there's this group that was tackling on question on how to identify the key performance indicators and also be able to ensure that they integrate them during the project monitoring. So they have just mentioned that key KPIs need to be you look at it in terms of the SMART analogy, whereby you need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And I want to emphasize on the word measurable, on the aspect of measurable, whereby those activities you need to be captured in a quantitative means. For instance, maybe when you're conducting trainings, you have to specify how many trainings have been done, or maybe you're having a training for the EOK, how many participants were reached, so that from there, we're able to track that maybe from the project management plan, so that we're able to look at that in terms of how many beneficiaries that were to be targeted in that training, so that from there we're able to know. So far we have reached out to 20. We are still having maybe 30 more participants so that for us to be able to reach out to the target audience. So we have to ensure that all the outcomes are captured in a quantitative manner, so that it can be measured to be able to know whether the project is meeting the set objectives, or in case there's a deviation. They also said we need to also have enhanced stakeholder communication, and also we need also to prioritize tasks, so that we ensure that we align with the schedule, we align with the budget and all other segments of the project. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to emphasize, and just want to take this early chance to commend you for your consistent and also your participation. This actually shows that you are ready and eager to create an impact to the community. So I really like your enthusiasm and the commitment that you have put this program to this far. I think from here, the next thing is you'll be required to come up with your project proposal. And it was prudent for me to also take you through the tool, or rather the format of how your project's ideas should look like. But I'll just want to say that I'll do a template, and with a guide and that will be posted on your WhatsApp platform. Something I noticed with the previous fellows, that when you give a template and you specify the guidelines, maybe you say in this part, maybe put this one here. So somebody will still copy and maybe leave some items and without deleting. So it comes as if you just return to me the original work that I've already shared. So when I give you a sample, be very creative enough so that you don't return the same sample, or I don't want to see some of the content of the version that I gave as a sample. So make sure you craft that and be creative enough so that you own that document in the first place, even before you start working on it. Yeah, so that is all from me for now. So just want to take it back to the coordinator so that he can lead the remaining part of the session.
Yeah, thank you very much, Facilitator Billy, for that piece of knowledge. We really appreciate you. Today we have gone past our end stipulated time, but we are sorry. And also it is for our own good. Majority have not lamented. We really appreciate you for your contribution, for your participation. We have reached the end of our today's session. Let me welcome our operations manager. Then we will usher in our executive director, and then finally we'll close with a word of prayer. Then we call it a day. Our operations manager, Mr. Ken, if you can hear me, take over. It seems he's not in today. Our Madam Edie, welcome and make the final remarks.
Thank you so much, Coordinator John. I really appreciate. So our operations manager just left because he was working on some documentation for the Chanuka and digital skills session that just ended. So there were some documents that they were supposed to work on that. Apologies on his behalf. And our chairman was also in the session. I think for one reason or the other, he just had to leave for other commitments. Anyway, thank you so much for the session. I take this opportunity to appreciate Sir Billy. That was a very informative session, very important in this leadership journey and very crucial as they prepare to pitch their project ideas in the coming few weeks, if not a month. And I want to believe, yes, they are now working on their proposals. So please, fellows, ensure that you have come up with your proposal, or if you want a concept note for your project, and share it to us before then. No, not before the next session. Anytime, because you have up until the next two sessions. We still have the module 7 on leadership and ethics. So I think by the time you are completing the leadership and ethics, you should have submitted the proposal. But I would really appreciate if you do it very soon so that you can have some inputs and recommendations or suggestions from your facilitators so that they can have enough time to look at them. And if there are areas that you need to refine, then you can be able to work on that before your pitching session. All right, so thank you. Also, I've seen Sir Gerald in the session, and I believe he left for some reasons, probably committed, but he was with us in the session. Thank you so much, Gerald, for also joining. See you in the next module, which you'll be covering next Friday. Once again, I appreciate you, Billy, for taking us through the module 4, 5, and 6, which have been very crucial. And thank you so much for your expertise. And to the fellows, you guys are still committed to this leadership journey, and I really, really appreciate you. I'm still seeing Benson Furaha, Brian Ekesa, Brian Karani, Sharon Ogutu, Anne Wangoi, John Lopeyok, Alfred Mumbo. Yeah, and I just want to appreciate you. I saw Ali in the room. I think he's having some internet connection issues. Loro Emmanuel is also having internet connection issues together with Samuel Asugo because the area really has that issues on connection. I really appreciate you, and please keep the focus, and see you again next Friday. Thank you also, Coordinator John. Let me not end it without appreciating you. Thank you so much, and back to you. Have a beautiful weekend.
Thank you very much, Madam Integrity. Indeed, how would it been without you? And finally, one person to pray for us.
Okay, I will pray. God, thank you for the wonderful time that you've granted us to attend this wonderful lesson. I want to pray for everyone that was in and everyone that wanted to be in, but circumstances could lead them to be in. God, whatever you have learned, may you help us incorporate them in our daily life so that we can make our societies better. And whatever we are learning here, God, may you help us incorporate in our projects so that we can have wonderful projects that will help shape our communities in a way that we want to see them prosper for a better future. For my fellows, I pray that you help and guide them through their projects, and for the office, God, I pray that you continue giving them wisdom to guide us and teach us whatever that will help us in our journey of having a society that is corruption free. Thank you for the day, and I pray that you help us through until we see each other again next time. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Brian. See you all next week and have a blessed evening to you all. Bye-bye.
Goodbye with love from my end.
Bye bye.